One and only 8 o'clock game. This is the second latest start time of the day for playoff eligible football teams. We do get one more game after this. We got a Pac-12 after dark matchup that I'm excited for. We're getting number 17 UNC, who's 6-1. Turning to Georgia Tech, who's 3-4. UNC favored by 11.5 points on the ACC network. Drake May has gone 170 at 260, thrown for 2,249 yards, 14 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. O'Mary Hampton has had 131 carries for 770 yards and 8 touchdowns. And J.J. Jones had 25 catches for 417 yards. Haynes King for the Yellow Jackets has gone 133 of 223, thrown for 1,835 yards, 17 touchdowns, and 9 interceptions. Jamal Haynes has had 84 carries for 465 yards and 4 touchdowns. And Eric Singleton Jr. has had 20 catches for 355 yards and 5 touchdowns. Louisville is, weirdly enough, 32-21 all-time in this series. Last 2 games have gone to Georgia Tech in 2021 and 2023, and Georgia Tech has won 4 out of the last 5 times these teams have played. Georgia Tech under Key, though, has been a giant slayer. They might not have played their best in certain games, but you go back to when Key took over. This was a Georgia Tech team that was dead in the water, right? They were looking at, I think they were like 3-6. And 3 of their last games of the season were against UNC, someone else I forgot, but in Georgia, right? And it looked like that it wasn't even going to be a possibility they made to bowl eligibility. And they didn't. They finished at 5-7, but that loss was to a Georgia team that was dominant, and they actually held that, all things considered, respectable in that game. But Georgia Tech knocked out UNC on the road last year. This was a Georgia Tech team that was god-awful. It was not a good football team, but they beat them on the road. This year, they beat an undefeated Miami team on the road. This has been a giant slayer under Key. He's been doing some phenomenal things. They've played up to their competition. They honestly should have beaten Louisville earlier on in the year if they didn't blow that game, and they had a shot against Ole Miss earlier on in the year. It has been a rough year for Georgia Tech. They're 3-4. They really want to make it to a bowl game because they kind of deserve it. There's some big games down the stretch. This is a massive one if you're a Georgia Tech fan, right? If you can beat a top 20 UNC team, a playoff-eligible UNC team at home, that would be a huge win for your program. Your team has actually been playing pretty well. I would not be shocked if Georgia Tech pulled off this upset. This is a big game after UNC lost a bad one to Virginia. They dropped a bad one at home to Virginia. They're going to be mad. They're going to be coming off a rough loss. And I think UNC is going to pop off, right? Drake May is the best quarterback that's still in playoff contention. I mean, you can argue Michael Penix Jr. is definitely higher in the Heisman votes, but Drake May is the best, most talented quarterback still in playoff contention at this point in the year since Caleb Williams has been eliminated. Drake May throws some beautiful balls. I think he picks apart this Georgia Tech defense, and I think UNC win and covers on the road.